from very often in the scriptures. You know, not too much about Joseph. There's a danger that we have as Catholics, and every Catholic has a nativity set probably in your own house, and that's to make like real people into just figures, like plaster of Paris or whatever, just kind of unreal things, rather than people who have the same emotions that you and I would have. Like, it's easy to think, Joseph had it all figured out, no problem. So she's pregnant, big deal, it's all God's plan, we'll just get married. You know, that's not, I mean, I can't say for sure, but I highly doubt that that's the way it happened. I think we have a 3D approach with Joseph. 3 Ds. Disappointment. How can she be pregnant if she loves me? She's pregnant with someone else's baby. How can that be? That's disappointment times on steroids. Then you had desperation. Well, what are we going to do now? I mean, the rules of biology dictate that the baby's coming relatively quickly. We have to make some decision. You can't say, well, in 10 years we'll have a plan. No, we need a plan right now. What are we going to do here with this mess? And then he went to decision. Disappointment, desperation, decision. His original decision, to send her away. In biblical times, we're not very fair to women. Some would say they're still not very fair to women. But he decided that this dream wasn't just a hallucination, whatever, this is actually what God wants me to do, and I will do it. I will do it. 3 Ds. Disappointment, desperation, decision. And that makes, see, you don't have to understand everything. I don't think he did. But you don't have to understand in order to believe. You don't. And maybe none of us ever have. It was the summer of 1994. I noticed a physical symptom that is suspicious and certainly worth getting looked at. So I called my doctor, he hooked me up with a urologist. Never met this urologist before in my life. We are now close friends. And after going through 6 and 7 tests and spending, all the rest of the summer going over the test and the early part of fall, he said, we got to take that kidney out. Now, I know nothing about kidney surgery. I don't even know what it's called. If he gave me a scalpel, I probably grabbed the wrong end of it and cut my hand. Surgery. I didn't understand. He took me into this room with all these x-rays they had taken. And he said, now we got to do this. And I'm looking at this like, what are you talking about? I didn't understand. But I trusted him. He'd done this 1,000 times. I had done it 0 times. And I trusted him. Joseph must have had some kind of relationship with God that allowed him to say, whatever you want, I will do. Mary did. From the moment Mary was conceived without original sin, she was prepared for virgin birth. Birth without sex. Biologically impossible. Theologically necessary. Joseph had probably, we hope, a long-term growth. Mary was a lightning strike. Joseph probably had a long life of developing a relationship with God that allowed him to say, if that's what you want me to do, we'll do it. And the rest is history. That's a very important lesson for us. There's a very important group of people you're about to meet, and I really can only give this talk at this Mass. There are people who come only on Christmas, and they tend to come at 4 o'clock Mass, and they tend to take your seat. They're looking for the lightning bolt. They'll have a relationship with God by showing up once. Well, Mary was the lightning bolt, but most of us are Joseph, not Mary. It takes a long time to develop that trust and relationship with God. Mary got it from the moment she was conceived. You and I don't get that. Joseph must have gotten it through a long life of prayer and developing a relationship. We get it through prayer and sacrament, confession, Eucharist, to where we and hopefully most of us, midlife or older people, understand God's very important. We probably didn't have that when we were kids. That group that comes only at 4 o'clock Mass, they're like the people at the lottery over there at the machine at the convenience, hoping to hit it big. That doesn't happen. So I guess somebody wins the lottery, but most of it's just a long relationship with God. And if those people come, and that's all they have is that one Mass, and they're shunned, excluded, can't sit in my seat, they will not come back. They don't even get the lightning bolt hope. And that's up to us. Jesus doesn't say, love me as I love you. He says, love one another as I have loved you. He doesn't say, love me. He says, love one another. And the best act of evangelization we can all do in these difficult times to try to get people to come back to church probably happens at that Mass, when people are made to feel welcome. They don't have to wait for a lightning bolt, but to get to know Jesus and maybe come back next week. And if we're not willing and able to do that, then we're no more real than those figures in the crib. Just statues. How real is our faith? Is it real enough to welcome those who come only once in a while? Maybe once a year. It's a question every one of us must answer, and we may have to answer it Tuesday night. Let us stand, my friends, who will profess our